I want to hear about your morning practice.
So that has been evolving and evolving again. They say I've been involved in a lot of different success groups over the past 2 or 3 years, and like each one of them has this different set of like morning routine things that you have to do, and it's like so overwhelming. At one point you realize you're like, okay, well, I want to work out in the morning, I want to meditate, I got to do morning pages, I got to do breathing, I got, and like it's just like it gets so, it gets so much. Do I want the smoothie in the morning because that's what they say, or do I want to do hot lemon water in the morning? I mean, it gets to a point where it's just so overwhelming. So I had been doing morning pages, and I found that I was and I did them pretty consistently, like for I think 6 or 8 months every day. And I would write them down. Morning pages are just basically like a brain dump. Like you just write, write, write. But I found that I was doing a lot of like complaining in them. And I was like, that's not good. So I tried to switch it to like a gratitude list. I tried to switch it to just how you want your life to be. Recently, I've gotten a book, and I can't believe I'm blanking on the names, but it's a book about Shakti, or the goddess energy, and how to embrace it. And it goes through several different goddesses in the Hindu religion and what they represent. It goes over mantras that you can chant, and the mantras are all in Sanskrit. So right now, that is what I'm doing. I'm working on trying to do mantras in the morning. And I'll just pick a goddess that I would like to invoke and like use one of their mantras. And I go through. So actually, I wore this specifically. This is my mala beads, and
They're
they're cherry
beautiful.
jasper, moonstone, labradite, and they're 108 beads, and I've been using this to kind of ground me so that my mind doesn't wander as much. And I just have been saying the mantra, like, and I've been going around it one full circle. Um, the mantras are long, and I'm having a hard time remembering all of them. So I tend to choose the shortest one. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. The intention is there, and I read somewhere at some point in time that sometimes even if you don't do it perfectly, the intention of what you do is so powerful that it transcends any mistakes you might make along the way. So that's what I've been doing. And I've honestly, like, this is very new. I've been doing it for about, honestly, maybe a week and a half, because these came in about 2 weeks ago, I want to say. So that's been new for me, but it's been nice to just do some breathing in the morning. So that's what I have been doing recently, and it might change. But I think it's just important to experiment until you find a routine that works for you, because there's so many different routines, and you can certainly take advice from everybody, but it has to be yours in the end. So, what do you do though?
Ha ha. Like you, I am involved in a few different groups, and the morning practices right at this moment they're kind of off the rails. I am doing the artist way, which is Julia. I almost called her Julia Child, not Julia Child. Julia Campbell's masterwork of the book, and in in the book form, it's a self-guided workshop, but
She
it's 12
spoke at Integrative
weeks.
Nutrition.
Oh, well,
So
that's where
yay,
the
that's great.
morning
Okay,
pages come
good.
from.
Yes.
Yeah, Julia Campbell gives us morning pages, and I am doing that every morning. I'm also doing 369 style manifestations, which is a different set of affirmations. I
Yeah.
write them out 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times in the evening. And then I also am involved with a group called Wealth, which is Carolyn Elliott's group. And she has a morning practice for us as well. So, mornings, I'm up very early trying to get all of the stuff done.
Yes.
And so, yes, I understand what you're saying about like wanting to get the morning practice done and the meditation in and the workout done. I really like having my mornings to myself, and that's usually not the case unless it depends how early I'm willing to get up. But Yeah, it can. I made the error this morning of getting out of bed, and I completed most of my practices. I hadn't sat down for my meditation yet, and I tricked myself. And
Oh.
I said it out loud to my computer. I'm like, I'm not getting on you yet. And I don't know how it happened, but I looked up 2.5 hours later, and I had to get on a call, and I hadn't meditated, and I hadn't worked out. I had a
Oh.
bunch of random stuff done. I set up my external hard drive and that kind of stuff. But it gets a little hairy. But I think that having a discipline based practice, even if it's something that you try for a little bit and it's not for you, I think it's really valuable to form. I don't want to say a habit because I don't want it to be something that's not conscious, but to routinize. There goes our doggy.
Rizzo is alerting us.
Yeah, but to
Oh my goodness,
routinize
she's so
your
cute.
things that you want to include in your life. So
Yes.
I'm very excited that the word Shakti came up in our
Yes!
conversation.
I'm excited about that too. Okay. Sorry.
So, in your work and being exposed to these different deities and their mythology, are there any that you find really attractive right now?
So I I'm like not even halfway through this book, so I don't think I could choose one right now. I know the one that's coming to mind right now is Lakshmi,
Mm.
but I am having a hard time remembering all of them because they're so new to me. I grew up in a Roman Catholic household, so
So the mala probably comes pretty naturally to you.
oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, it does definitely resemble like the rosary, but it's just so it's different. Like all the numbers are different and the meanings behind them and all this stuff. But learning about the goddesses and the goddess energy and really trying to step into that. Um, because I'm really trying to get to a place where and I think we all are in a little in some way, like to get quiet enough in ourselves so that we can get to that space where we are in tune with our intuition. I think we, as women, as a society, have been taught to not listen to it. And in some ways, that has worked out well for us. The feminist movement. Now we can open checking accounts by ourselves. Now we're allowed to work and theoretically get equal pay. We're still working on that a little bit, but it has served us well in some aspects. But I think we have lost. I think we've lost along the way that ability to get in touch with that knowing part of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get back in touch with it myself. I'm working on it. So
Yeah, I'm curious. I have follow-up questions about Catholicism and how church may have influenced you in general. Because one of the things that I'm noticing in my own recovery journey is now that I'm healing and now that I'm able to more and more quickly find my path to God and Goddess
right.
and connect directly to them, I'm very hesitant to give up my key to the divine to someone else. I don't need them to open the door for me. I don't need to hand over my key and hope that they open the door.
Right.
It's just a place that I tend to really hesitate around, which is interesting because there goes our dog again. Because in the South, there is such a culture for being involved in churches, both spiritually and socially.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is. I guess I feel the same way. I mean, the structure of, and not just the Roman Catholic Church, but like the structure of a physical building and a set of practices and everything that we do. in a lot of ways, there's a lot of similarities, but also there's a lot of just doctrine, and there's not as much discussion. And I feel like when I was younger and I would ask questions, answers that were given to me weren't very satisfactory. And, because I said so from your mom, that's one thing when you're, being told not to go play in the street or something. But because God said so is quite a different answer when you're actually asking a question and wanting, a real answer. So it's interesting to explore. I haven't never been asked that, like the how it have affected me. I think it made me. I know for a while because I did not like going to church. It's not as exciting at certain points in your life, I guess.
They took all the feminine energy out of it.
Yes. But that's very true. But I think for a long time I was very angry with my parents for not for sending me to Catholic school or anything, but for they would always invite me to like go to the March for Life or go to this retreat or go to that retreat, or do you want to do this? And it's why haven't you been going to church? Once I moved out and I was living on my own, um, and it was because it made me angry because I'm like, I'm not pregnant, I'm not doing drugs, I'm a well behaved, functioning member of society. I just, why am I not good enough just being myself? Like, why do I have to go into this building for you to be happy? I could have earbuds in and be thinking, whatever I want to be, but as long as I'm in the building, I'm okay. Like, it was just so I was very angry about it for a long time. Like, why am I not good enough for you? But I think I got to a point, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, where as much as it still aggravates me, some of the things that have happened, and different things that they invite me to that I really just don't support. I I realize that they're only wishing me the peace that they found, and I mean, not gonna go, but like, thank you for the invitation. I'm not gonna be like angry with you or myself for an hour after now. But it took me a long time to get to that space, and I think a lot of what you said is true. They took a lot of the feminine energy out of church, and they took it. Eve was made out to be some terrible, terrible creature because, as a woman, because she ate the apple. And I've actually been reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
I'm reading Untamed.
Okay, I don't know if you got to this part, but there's a part where she says, all Eve did was want more. And I feel like a lot of women want more out of their life. They know they're meant for more. And because she ate the apple, because she betrayed her husband, she betrayed God, by wanting more, she was punished. And I think it's really funny. I don't know how Glennon Doyle said it, but maybe Eve wasn't meant to be, shouldn't have been punished. Maybe she should have been our example to go after what you want. And I was like,
I think that story, it fascinates me so much because I think it really starts to show what our shadows can warp into. So like where Eve's thing was like she ate the apple and now she has the knowledge, and now she wants sex, now she knows about whatever different positions, and or maybe that was Lilith. I might be getting my
I don't know what that is.
I might be getting my people wrong, but she now has this information about sexuality, which is a common way for women to manipulate. And we're also seeing Adam's shadow, like he's not absolved, I'm sorry, but he threw his wife under the bus and was just like,
yeah,
it was her, she did it. So very very interesting to see the masculine shadow, are the shadows within any masculine energy, whether you're in a female body or a male body or whatever. other kind of gender you might identify as. We have both energies. And the masculine energy in balance is protective, assertive. They govern, they hear all sides of a story, they're decisive. So for him to just kind of throw her, allow her to be blamed and just renounce responsibility is not indicative of a healthy masculine energy. And so they were in balance and they went out of balance together.
Yeah.
So, really cool.
It's interesting. I mean, it's just different perspectives, and again, you have to find the one that you identify with that sits well in your bones.